Hi everyone! So today's video is going to be a beginner's makeup tutorial. I've gotten a ton of requests for this and I thought that I would break this into 5 videos. So it's going to be beginner's foundation, beginner's eyeshadow, beginner's brows, beginner's contour and blush, and beginner's lips. So we are going to go ahead and do all 5 of those on the same face, well obviously my face, over 5 videos, and it's going to break down everything in detail, and it's going to be all of the tips and tricks, kind of life hacks. I'm going to give you everything I got. So with that being said, we are going to start with the foundation, the eyes and the brows and stuff. We're not reinventing the wheel obviously because it's, you know, beginner stuff. We're really just giving you all the information you need to make it so much easier for you on your everyday life and having that in your back pocket so to get the result that you're looking for. I really wanted to do this in depth because I've seen and watched a few different YouTubers do beginners makeup tutorials and they kind of just speed right through. I want to give you as much information as I can, and that's what I'm going to do. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with the foundation as always. So I will go ahead and just stop rambling and let's just get into it. So before you get started on your foundation, let's talk about picking a foundation for yourself. There's a ton of different foundations out there. You really want to focus on a couple of key aspects before you just slap something on your face and, you know, go about your day. You really want to think about the finish of the actual foundation. You want to think about the application. You want to think about the color, and you want to think about your skin type. The finish is really easy because a lot of the foundations tell you in the title what kind of finish it is. It's a semi-matte, it's a matte finish, it's full coverage. All of those things kind of go into, you know, picking a foundation. So once you have decided what finish you're looking for, you've got to think about your skin type. Do you have dry skin? Do you have oily skin? Do you have combination skin? All of these play a factor with the way that the foundation is actually going to sit on your skin, especially if you do have acneic skin or if you are somebody who is troubled or prone by, you know, pimples or acne or big pores. The foundation at the store is a little bit more difficult because if you're using something that's a drugstore, which is perfectly fine, there are so many great ones out there right now for the drugstore that they've put out in the last year and a half. What you can do is try to match it to your décolleté and neck area. You do not want to match it to your face because a lot of the times this is more tan than your actual face is. And a lot of times people will pick things that look, you know, great on your skin here but don't look great here, and they don't blend, and then you end up with this line of makeup and it looks like a mask. That's what we don't want. We want to make sure that this is what we're matching to. You've chosen your foundation, you've gotten your color match, and you're very satisfied with the fact that it does match your décolleté and neck area and you're satisfied with the kind of coverage and the finish that it has. You want to apply this on clean, freshly washed skin. Once your skin has been freshly washed and you have a clean canvas, you do want to moisturize. I did put a moisturizer on about 20 minutes ago, and the moisturizer that I like is a water base. So I went ahead and just put on my moisturizer and let it really seep into my skin so that it has a nice, clean, smooth surface for the foundation to sit on top of. Your moisturizer has already settled into your skin. You do want to go ahead and add a primer on top. What a primer does is it smooths out any imperfections that you might have, as well as cancels out any redness in the skin. It depends on what primer you decide to choose, depending on your skin type and texture. But what I'm going to be using today is an anti-redness one because I do have pink undertones and it does calm some of the redness down in my skin. I'm going to be using the NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer in the anti-redness. It looks like this. You saw this in my April favorites. So I'm going to be using this today, and it's going to go ahead and calm down some of my redness in my skin before I put on my foundation. And I'm going to just put a little bit of this on the back of my hand, just like that. And it does look like really green, and that's normal. I'm going to go ahead and just rub this into my skin. You can use a brush, you can use your fingers, you can use a beauty blender. A dampened beauty blender. I just like to use my fingers. It makes it a lot easier for me. And I do not only put it on my face, I move it all the way down my neck and décolleté just because I'm going to be pulling it all the way down, so I go ahead and prime my neck as well. I went ahead and finished priming my skin. Everything feels really nice and soft and even, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the foundation that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using Clinique Super Balanced Makeup. It looks like this. I'm going to be using this today because it does even out oily skin. I do have oil in my T-zone and I do get oily throughout the day, so this will kind of mattify that and then level out any imbalances I might have in my skin. If I'm dehydrated in my cheeks or in my chin area, it should give me the amount of hydration I need in that area and take away from the places like my T-zone that I have excess oil. So I will go ahead and put a couple of pumps on the back of my hand, and from there I will show you a couple of different brushes that you can use for this application. I don't like to use more than just a couple pumps to start because I feel like if you are using more than just a couple pumps, if you need extra, that's fine, but I'd rather have less and then add more. A thin layer at first usually is the way to go. You don't want to just lather it on. You really want to do a thin coat. It's kind of like painting a wall. You want to prime it and then you want to add one coat and see how it looks, and then let it kind of seep in, oxidize, and settle into the skin. And then if you need more coverage, then go ahead and go over it again using another coat. It's the same thing as painting a wall. So I'm going to be doing it that way today, and the brush that I'm going to be using is, this is a flat top synthetic kabuki F80 from Sigma. I will go ahead and show you. It looks like this. It just has really dense bristles, and I really like this brush just because it does have a flat surface and I feel like it covers a lot more area. You can use brushes that have more of a round top that look like this. This is going to give you a little bit less full coverage on your face. It's going to give you more of an airbrush look, which is fantastic, but it won't give you as much coverage, so you might have to go over the same area a couple times to get that full coverage if that's what you're looking for. I usually use this more if I'm going to be using a tinted moisturizer or something like that when I'm not looking for full coverage because of the bristles and the rounded top. There's also dampened beauty blenders that you can use, those kinds of things. It just depends on the finish that you're looking for. If you feel more comfortable using a dampened beauty blender or a beauty sponge of some sort, that's completely fine. I'm just going to be using this today. Now that I've got it on the back of my hand and I've got my brush, I'm just going to be dabbing very small amounts, as you can see here, on my brush. I start in the middle of my face and work out. I feel like I have more control that way. I don't want to start on the bottom and work my way up. I start in the middle and work out. I'm just going to start placing a couple of places right in the middle of my face, and then we're going to go ahead and use small circular motions to blend out everything. As you can see, I started all in the middle of my face, and what I'm going to do is just small circular motions to blend this out. As I go, if I need more on my brush, I will go ahead and just dab the back of my hand and keep working all of that foundation into your skin. I do go over the eyes because I want to make sure that my eyes match the rest of my face. Some people don't do that. I do. I feel like it gives me a more blank canvas for all of the other makeup to sit on top of and for the other makeup to stick better. So I go ahead and just go over my eyelids. Some people want to use an eye primer and things like that, which we'll get into more when we're talking about eyeshadow. But for the most part, what I like to do is just give myself a full blank canvas and work from there. As you can see, we went to the ears and down the neck because we want everything to match. So we are just kind of going over the tops of the ears, down the neck, to the décolleté just a little bit, and making sure everything is all nice and blended. If we do need some more coverage, that's when you go back and get another pump, which I feel like just a little bit through here and my chin. We'll just do one extra pump right there and just go over those areas one more time. So our face is nice and evenly toned, and it's a good starting point for the rest of our makeup application. What I like to do to set my face now that I've got a full canvas and everything is all one color and it's all even is use a powder to set it. What I'll use is using a foundation powder that actually does have my skin or undertone. It just depends on what you're looking for, depending on what I'm using and what kind of day it is. If I'm feeling extra oily or if my skin is dehydrated, I will use different things. Today I'm going to be using the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powder, and this is just going to absorb any excess oil that I might have. And it looks like this, just a regular foundation powder. What I like to use when I'm doing this is, again, a different powder brush that is a flat top, because I feel like I get more out of the brush and the powder if I'm using an actual brush that has a flat surface, because it's covering more surface area on my face. And I just go ahead and just dab it like that and get a little bit of powder on there like this, and just, I don't like to do small circles and move around the foundation we just laid down. What I like to do is just kind of pat it on and just pat down all the surfaces that we went ahead and evened out. So now that our foundation has been set with the powder, I'm gonna go ahead and use a setting spray. I usually don't do this in my tutorials, but I do this on an everyday basis. I feel like it absorbs any excess powder and sets the foundation for the rest of the afternoon so that it does not move. So what I'm going to be using today is the Chill Makeup Setting Spray, and this is a cooling and hydrating. It's oil-free, paraben-free, temperature-controlled technology, and it's from Urban Decay. It looks like this. Hopefully you can see that. There are a lot of different ones out there. There's one from e.l.f. if you are on more of a budget. This is just what I happen to have near me right now. I've got a couple of different ones. I have Fix Plus from MAC. There are so many different ones. This is just what I'm using today. And what you do is hold it about 6 to 12 inches from your face and just kind of mist yourself. You don't want to spray it close to your face, but kind of just misting. It does make a difference, and it does really hold your makeup in place. So we'll be using this today. Now that that's dry, you can go ahead and move on to the rest of your makeup. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see the beginner's brow tutorial, that will be next after this. I will go ahead, if it is up, I will link it down below for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.